Hello, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to this episode of Saturday on Black Marathon Madness. Let's begin. So we got another spectacular episode today. It's filled with some spookiness, some craziness, and some drama. Okay, here we go. Season 8, episode 35, PSAT Giving Me PTSD, final part. Um, last night we talked about part 1. And then we're gonna go back to season 1, episode 63, Savage Play Trip. So let's go to season 8, episode 35, PSAT Give Me PTSD final part. So here we go. So he starts out, he gets breakfast, and he goes to Oswald's room, and then they get on this mini bus again to head to Hartman to this private room to do this PSAT, um, part two, day two. Um, so, and luckily this is the last day of it. So they get to this room, they prepare for the test, they do their instructions, blah blah blah, boring stuff, and it's the session is math part two. It's just the final one. He's stressed out. You know how he is about math. I personally don't like it. My character don't like it. Many people don't like math. It's hard. It's difficult, especially during like a major test like a PSAT or SAT. Oh my gosh. So after the instructions, the test begins, session begins for about an hour, which we see we have some like kind of sinister music, kind of like you know, kind of spooky music almost. And he's like stressing, trying to. Luckily, he has a calculator. He has access to a calculator, um, and thank God. Um, but he's still stressing. He's trying to figure this out with no help, because it's a major test. So it's not like a basic quiz or test that you can get some help on. But this is a major, big thing. Um, so he's just stressing, dun, like Jeopardy music. That's what I'm thinking. Dun dun. That wasn't the music that we did more like challenging music. I don't know how to describe it, and we showed the other people doing the test too. But Hunter, he survives it. He got PTSD now from 2 days in a row of a PSAT test, especially the two math portions. But he gets through it. He survives. He waits for. He just chills while everyone's finishing up. But they end. The test is done, and then they announce that the test is done. He does his little ritual dance. They get a little snap break. Um, and then um, and he's glad he's done it. Actually, um, I'm trying to think. And then after the rest of the people, if they don't have Hartman, go back with them. But if they do have Hartman, they get to go to their class, which I believe it's Wednesday. Um, this was on Wednesday, so it was English. So I usually, it wasn't. It's not preschool day, so he wasn't able to be Mr. Hunter today. But these two he's done with the PSAT, which gave him PTSD. But now he gets to go English, and he catches up, because he missed half of it, and he missed his break too. Um, But after the test, he goes to English. He catches up on the bell work, and then after he gets done with the bell work, turns it in. Then he gets the assignment done, and then while the teacher's reading the book that they're doing, and then when he gets done with that assignment that was assigned when he was doing the test, when everyone else was in class limber because Hunter was with this special group of people were doing the test a different day than everyone else. But anyway, so the classes were still going on. But after that, he turns it in, and then they finish reading the book for the day, and then the bell rings for Hartman, and he leaves, and then they get back to the high school, and it's study hall time. So he's back on a normal schedule finally. And that means he has a normal lunch period with his friends and with the Brotherhood, so they get to have the Brotherhood meeting. So after study hall, he goes to lunch. It's hamburger day and French fries day, which he loves. He gets to see his Brotherhood buddies, his Brotherhood members. He's back to being a savage eater after the stressful PSATs, and all 2 days of it. But he talks to his Brotherhood, and they chit chat, and they talk about the test, which they did a couple days before him, actually. Um, but which was interesting. Uh, and then um, I'm trying to think. But he chit chats with them, and then he goes, sits down, he eats his lunch, he just relaxes. He has his phone this time, unlike yesterday when he had to leave his phone in the locked testing room during lunch. But this is a normal lunch hour, finally, um, where he's able to relax and play with his phone and eat his lunch peacefully. Um, and then after lunch, he goes to science with Mr. Miller. And they do bell work and then activity, that's pretty much it. And then they go to Algebra 2, which is nice that he didn't have to do math on top of math. So, at least he had a break phone because they just basically had a chill day. Um, I think they had a sub this day, I believe. Mr. Stevens had something going on or something, probably. But he had a sub. Um, so it was just a chill day with no assignment. So because he just got done with a session, that made it nice. Um, um, and that was nice. That would be nice for resource too. Um, so we don't really see Algebra 2 because they had nothing to do. And then went to resource and just chilled and worked on some other work as well. Um, and then after resource, he headed over to U.S. history with Mr. White Village. They did a lesson and then an assignment, and that was pretty much it. Um, so, and then the bell rings at 3:30, then he heads home for the evening, and that is it. Um, so now let's go back to season 1, episode 63. This is 8th grade, and this is a Friday episode, I believe. I think. I could be wrong. But this is a fun episode. This is Savage. It's called Savage Play Trip. So it's a field trip today. So he starts out. He goes to Breakfast Club with Erica and record and with all his Breakfast Club friends. He doesn't have the Breakfast Club, meaning Savage Club or Brotherhood 2.0 yet. At this point, they eat breakfast. And they just chit chat and have some fun. And then the bell rings. He goes to his um homeroom, his study hall room, which is with Mr. Wild Wimlich, and they prepare and they just give some details about the field trip, which they're going to this theater in Fort Wayne. Uh, Says an hour bus ride, which is always nice and fun. So they just get ready and then they get on the buses, which we see, and then Hunter gets seated down. He gets on his phone, and chills out for listens to Taylor Swift and watches TikTok and watches YouTube on the bus line, which we don't see the whole bus line, just see every so often. And then eventually they get into the theater. Um, and then they walk out and they get all their stuff, and then they get into the actual theater with the stage and everything. They find their seats, which is on the top row. He gets his nice seat and it's comfy chairs, which he loves. And he's excited for this play. And this play is actually some stories that they've been reading, some short horror stories, spooky stories for Spooktacular season. um, in Miss Hendrix's class, language arts, and she's the one that planned the field trip every year for eighth grade. But actually, um, and there's other schools there too, and this was a real play actually, and it's based off some the true spooky stories. They're not true, but they're spooky stories. Like the way, like Legend of Sleepy Hollow and stuff like that. We've been reading some spooky short stories, which we've seen in previous episodes prior to this, I believe. But the end of September and the whole month of October, this is now November. The play is in November is a spooky play. So they get prepared for that. They're in their seats. And it's about an hour and a half or 2 hour show, I believe, and they have breaks in between. So the show begins, and they do all this. And it's different stories, like the Raven and stuff that they act out, which is very fun to watch. I personally enjoyed this episode. I personally enjoyed watching it. I don't remember all the details, but it was really fun. But sometimes Hunter would get on during breaks and stuff, during intermissions. So if he would use the restroom, of course, which you see, of course. And I would do Facebook and TikTok and YouTube. And it was kind of fun, but probably more so Facebook because I didn't have earbuds, but and I didn't want to disrupt. Um, but And then after the break, it was the second half of the show, which was fun. And some parts did scare Hunter and were scary. Oh my gosh! And he was like, kind of, and the other Brotherhood members that were sitting near him were kind of getting. It was kind of scary, um, but overall fun. It was just a nice break from school and academics and all of this. It was fun, but spooky. And that's why I want to discuss this episode this week for Halloween week, for Spooky week, for Spooky season. So I thought it fit well this week. And then after the play got done for an hour or so, um, we have a lunch break, and this is the last thing we do. They go to the hallway of the theater and they have their sack lunches, peanut butter sandwiches, and chips and apples and stuff like that, and water. They sit on the floor, like a picnic type thing. Lunch. Um, and he sits close to his friends and board members. They chit chat. They eat. But there's always we get a little bit spooky. We get a little bit crazy, just like the movie. Hunter goes a little bit mental and psycho, and I really enjoyed acting in this episode. I was truly getting like screaming and emotional in this episode. I was starting to actually cry, not fake cry, in this episode. Um, but we always have to have drama, and there's no field trip without craziness or drama. The Burhead, and once again, it's jealous Jared. Uh, and this is when Hunter added two new members, Brendan and Chris. This was the same week. The battle, the borders and new that I talked about a month or so ago. Um, the drama. This is where the drama really hits hard. So he eats lunch, and Jared is starting to get jealous, and Hunter's like, "Just do this no more. I can't handle the battle of the Brotherhood no more. I can't do this. I don't know if I can do this alone with the Brotherhood." He starts screaming, crying. He goes away from everybody. He goes to a corner or something. He eats by himself. I mean, sits on the floor, started having a mental breakdown uh, on the floor. Oh my gosh, and no one knows this. Um, um, and says he needs help. He can't be this burden. And he comes up with a plan, which I'll discuss many times in the future. Um, that's the main focus of season two. That he needs two new strong assistants. He needs two strong women. Nora, or that was one, which is a friend of Hunter's, or somebody. Um, he was thinking maybe Montana, maybe Nora, two people or one person, one strong woman to get these Burhead men together, get them straightened out, and listen to them, and listen to Hunter, and it's Hunter's way of the highway, and follow Hunter's leadership, and follow Hunter's lead with this Burhead. And they need to know that this is Hunter's Burhead, it's his rules, it's what he wants. So he's thinking about getting one woman to spice it up a little bit, to mix it up a little bit, to not be just all men. And that was our way to diversify our show too. But but a strong woman that was mature, that knew how to set people straight, that set Hunter straight with academics and stuff before, and acting up in the past. Like Nora would always like confront Hunter when he was acting up and immature. So if they can do it for Hunter, they can do it for the Brotherhood. He says he's having mental breakdown that he don't know how much longer he can be a Brotherhood leader, but he don't want to give up on the Brotherhood. He don't want to give up being a leader. He promised Hayden that he would be a leader. He's having mental breakdown that he can't do this, and he's thinking about removing Camden as an assistant and having him being a normal member temporarily and have a strong woman to get these people settled out and get this Hunter's Way or the highway going. So he's thinking about doing that. He can't do it by himself. He can't even do it with his assistant. He needs someone else. He needs a new path. He needs a new direction for his leadership and for the Brotherhood. So he's kind of freaking out about this because of the drama that Jared at this field trip is complaining about Chris and Brendan being a new member and he's jealous, blah blah blah. And Hunter's having mental breakdown. Even he goes into this private bathroom, um, and he is crying behind, which we see behind the door of this wheelchair bathroom or whatnot. He's having a mental breakdown in the bathroom too. But he finishes eating the rest of his stuff. He throws it in the way. And then all the people line up to get back onto the buses. He gets on the bus, which we see. He gets seated down. He's calmed down a little bit, but he's still nervous about the Burhead's future more than ever. I don't know if it's the spooky vibes or the craziness from the play that made him go crazy and made him. or the jealousy of Jared. I don't know, or all the above, probably all the above. This is crazy. But we can never have anything totally good with the Brotherhood. Sometimes it just gets crazy. We always have to have a little bit of craziness in each episode. But anyway, they get on the bus. We see a little bit where they're heading back, and then they get back to the school, and they get back. It's an hour drive, but we see them walking in, and I believe they go to. Actually, they go to homeroom in the sixth period, which is chaotic civics. So, but they just chill for the rest of the period. Um, and then after that, he goes to resource, and he has no assignment. Erica's not even there, which is okay. All Hunter does is just chill on his phone, on his iPad, and just chilling. And then the bell rings at 3:45. He walks out the door. He had an overall great field trip, play field trip. It was fun overall, even with the craziness and even with the spookiness. And he heads out the door and he sways the night away. And that is it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching Sajon Blunt. May God bless you all, and I'll see you Thursday night for another episode. Bye.